Okay, the review for this week is very late because I haven't been sober long enough to read any comics, so apologies to anyone bothering to watch. Now, Sherlock Holmes #2 from Dynamite. The word classic is overused, so I won't even go near it until the series is complete, though I was surprised that this issue was as strong as the first, which makes me suspect that this lump is getting her dad to write it for her. Salem's Daughter #1 is by Zenoscope, and anyone familiar with their titles will be disappointed by this possessed girl western tale because of its lack of gore and TNA, and without it I can't see the point. In a similar vein, Bomb Queen Presents #1 tries to provide titillation with piss poor art by Seth DeMoose. The story is as bad as previous Bomb Queen issues, but at least they had some eye candy. The first line in the book sums it up completely: what the fuck. Starting off for Marvel, we have Savage She-Hulk 3 of 4. Simply put, I've found nothing of interest and hope you will join me in dropping this title until Jennifer Walters is returned as the main focus of the book. Amazing Spider-Man Family 7 was a bit of a surprise for me as I hadn't picked up the series before, but it has a sentimental look back at Uncle Ben's early days. A Spider-Girl story drawn by Buscema, always happy to see him working. I'm not a fan, but know she has a loyal following. And a not-so-humorous story by Fred Hembeck. Not too shabby overall, but they need to knock a couple of bucks off the price tag. One that shouldn't have a price tag because it shouldn't have been released is Mr. Negative 1 of 3. I picked it up as a Dark Reign tie-in, which I'm really enjoying, but this has no relation to it. It's not even an origin series, and it doesn't deal with the bioweapon he made from Spidey's blood. Also, the artist shaves about 20 years off Mr. Negative. This character hasn't been around long enough or made a big enough impact to warrant his own mini, especially when there are better series out there getting cancelled. One of which is arguably the Captain Britain MI13 series. Issue 14 isn't a great jumping on point, and the series won't be around for much longer, so if you are interested you're better off waiting for the trade. But if that's the case, pick up the Excalibur Visionaries trade instead. That's also released this week, and Alan Davis captures Captain Britain's character far better than Paul Cornell. My two Dark Reign picks of the week are Mighty Avengers 26, which concludes the Baxter Job story and came out very soon after issue 25, and Dark Reign Hawkeye 3 of 4. Both of these issues have a good mix of action and humour, but if a writer wasn't able to do that with a Bullseye story, then they should probably get Okay, on to the mutants, and not easy to find something to recommend this week. First there was X-Men Legacy 225, which I thought would be a shoo-in after the last few issues, but this Xavier-centric issue felt like a filler, especially because of a lot of space taken up by splash page flashbacks. But if Charlie ain't your favourite X-Men, how about Gambit? Yeah, me neither. X-Men Origins Gambit one-shot gives us an overview from his marriage to Belladonna to meeting up with Storm, and it is nothing any fan doesn't know already, so must presume it's for any wanker who saw the Wolverine flick and said, I just gotta know more about him. This being likely, Marvel slyly tried to retcon Gambit as not being a total git and having him have second thoughts and try and stop the mutant massacre. On the plus side, the art was great and it was good to see the Marauders back in a comic again, if only in a flashback. No flashbacks in X Factor 44, however, because we're in the future, as Madrox continues his Days of Future Past arc, and in the present, Morph is attacked by the Flanks. Anyway, I think it was the Flanks. To be honest, I'm not even sure if I'm saying it right. It's irrelevant anyway. If you're not reading this book, this is a terrible jumping on point. I pick up this title for Peter David's writing, but knowing his love of cliffhangers, I tend to read the titles in chunks, but I broke my own rule for this issue as I wanted to see where he was going with Shatterstar, who was the cliffhanger moment in issue 43, but he didn't even appear in this issue. What the... never mind, maybe next time. A brief look at DC starts with Superman Batman 61 and the conclusion of the mashup storyline, where Supes and Bats enter a world where every character has been fused with another. I shouldn't really need to explain it any further than that. If you're watching this, you've at least got some intelligence. The art is respectable with a manga in pastels feel, but I can't see why it took two people to write it, and I wish this series would go back to having some repercussions in the main DC universe. One of the repercussions from this series was the new Supergirl, whose own issue hits 42, with the epilogue of the less than interesting Superwoman storyline. I'm going to keep an eye on this title, but we'll be dropping it until the stories and most definitely the art gets a lot better. The art also needs to be better in Streets of Gotham #1. It made me lose interest after just a few pages, and Paul Dini's writing barely got me to the end of the issue. He is wasted on this title about GCPD and other supporting characters in Gotham, and should be on the main title in place of Judd Winnick. Hopefully his upcoming Girls of Gotham title will fare better. Alright, Hangover's kicking in now, so